Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to the podcast. Happy Valentine's Day. Hello. If you don't have a Valentine's this year, that does not matter at all because you are you and you can be your own Valentine. Let's normalize being your own Valentine. I got the cutest roses from my roommate. I got a cute card and I got this little variation box of fruit tea. Shut up right now. Literally right now, shut up. That is so cute. Before we get into this, I would like to say, because I keep forgetting this and I'm putting it in my notes so that I never forget again, follow me on Instagram, Life Goes On the Podcast. Follow me on Spotify for audio episodes, and Soundcloud. So for both of those, it's Life Goes On, just as this YouTube channel is. And comment something funny, comment something cute, like, subscribe, whatever it is. But I really appreciate you being here today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I surely am. I've had a little bit of a tiring day. Tuesdays are just a lot. But the fucking weather is so beautiful. God damn, it's so beautiful. I hope I don't get... Can I just swear without being demonetized for once? Jesus Christ. But anyways, today we're gonna talk about something very interesting, something, well, not interesting, but a little bit depressing, but there's a happy ending to this. Before I get into this, I want to show you this, my broken nail. I don't even know if you can see it. It's so sad. I was putting in my charger and there was a charger next to my charger, and while I was doing it, it got caught. My nail got caught between the two chargers, and then I pulled one of the chargers out and that was the end of my nail. And I am so sad because I need to wait 2 weeks until my nail appointment. But that's first world problems. Life is so good right now. I watched the Super Bowl. I did not make it until the halftime show because the thing is, since I'm not in America, the Super Bowl was at 12:30 p.m. My bedtime is 11 p.m. 11 p.m. I'm out. I'm done. I'm good. I want to sleep. Nobody can take me out of my bed at 11 p.m. Talk to me, and then 11:59 hits, and I'm like, we should wrap this up. We should consider stopping. I'm a morning person, so I was there. Sure, I was there physically looking at the TV. I was not there mentally. I took a nap before, and then I didn't want to get out of my bed, so that took like 15 minutes. And I was there for about 10 minutes. And then I was like, you know what? I will go to sleep. I will go back to sleep. I felt like nauseous. I don't know if you get this, but when I wake up from a nap, I feel weirdly nauseous. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It's really fucking annoying because hello, can I just sleep without feeling nauseous when I wake up? Like, can I just live? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to sleep away the nausea. I was very surprised that I got into my PJs and took my makeup off. That was truly a feat. I was like, wow, that's so good, because I did fall asleep during my nap with my makeup on and with my clothes on. And then I was like, this is a really stupid idea. I did it anyway. But at the end of the day, I got out of my makeup and my PJs. So can I really complain? No, I'm super proud of myself. I've also garnered a obsession with Modern Family. I love that show. I'm almost on season 5. I'm just obsessed with that show. I don't know why I never watched it, because the thing is, I'm not a huge fan of Friends or How I Met Your Mother. I know, crazy. So I thought like Modern Family was kind of like that. Nothing like it. Love that show so much. Oh my God. I'm an office girly myself, so I'm not really into Friends. It's just because I feel like the humor between Friends and The Office is very different, and I don't like laughing tracks. Sadly, I hate laughing tracks. Like, I feel like my brain spites laughing tracks. Every time there's a laughing track, I refuse to laugh. It does not matter how funny the joke is. I will not fucking laugh. So, but I've been watching a little bit more Friends recently because my roommate loves Friends, or like it's a comfort show for her. So sometimes I do join in. Not that I know what's going on because I haven't watched it chronologically, but the episodes are really good. I watched Joey speaking French. And then I also watched The Couch, where it was like pivot. That was good. That was very good. It was very iconic. And I like the Brad Pitt episode because Brad Pitt in his prime. Like, who doesn't like the Brad Pitt episode? But yes, last thing I wanted to say is I went to the silent disco for the first time. There's this silent disco in my area in the center. And I've always wanted to go to the silent disco. And I finally went on Friday. And oh my God, I loved it. I genuinely am obsessed with it. It's like, it gives you so much freedom basically, because like there's 3 settings on the headphones that you can switch through different songs. And then there's also like the possibility to take your headphones off and talk to somebody, which in theory that's the possibility. In practice it's not really, because everybody's like screaming. It's so funny. Like if you take your headphones off, you hear everybody screaming to the songs. And like since different people like different songs, like there's 3 different songs going on in one room. But it is super fun. If you have a silent disco anywhere near you, just go once. You might not like it, fine, but it's for the experience. So this episode is going to be about losing or like feeling out of control. The thing is, here's the thing about me. I'm a very routine schedule person. I stick to a very strict routine. I wake up around 8, I go to the gym, I come back, I take a shower, I do my work. Every single day there is a list of things that I'm doing, and I'm thinking about like this time is this activity. I'm super controlled. I'm kind of a control freak. Is it because I'm a Virgo or because I have actual mental issues? I think it's both. But we won't get into that specifically. Maybe one day, not today. But I'm definitely that type of person that gets super anxious if my schedule gets changed, or if I am unsure about what I'm doing during my day. I hate free time. Like, unless I know what to do with that free time, unless I'm like, oh, there's a new episode of this show that I want to watch. If I don't have something to do during my day, I literally go crazy. So I'm always like trying to fill in as many things as possible into a day. And sometimes that's not always a great idea, because there's a possibility that I will burn out. But on the other hand, I just can't live without it. I've always lived like that. So in a way, it's just what I'm used to. And yeah, I'm just used to having the same shit every day. And I just don't do well with change. Change scares me. Change makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable, especially if it's like my close environment that changes. And I started thinking about this topic because recently there were 2 roommates in my house that were there sub-renting. So basically somebody was abroad and they rented out their apartment to 2 people. And I created a really close bond with those 2 people because they came at the same time as me. And recently, like last week, the people that were abroad finally came back. And the thing was that I made such a close bond and kind of like a routine with them that when they left, not only was I losing friends, but I was also, you have to adapt to new people. Things change. That's completely normal. So my environment completely changed. And it was a really weird thing for me, especially since like, these people have lived here before. They have like established schedules, established things that they do during their day and at home, established friends that they would like to have over. And obviously that's something just to adapt to. Like, it's something that everybody has different wants when living at home. But it was definitely a source of stress and anxiety for me, especially since I hate when like people leave and stuff like that. It really brings about a lot of emotion for me. So it was difficult to say goodbye to the people that were already there, because sometimes I feel like putting so much effort into getting to know somebody and creating a connection, it really hurts, obviously, when that person leaves and you feel like this connection was like, for what? Which is totally untrue, because I mean, it's always worth it. It's always worth even the loss, because you've made so many beautiful memories with people, and you will continue to do so, and it teaches you a lot, and it like you know more people now. I can always text them or meet up with them. It's just different when they're not living at home, because it's kind of like losing a part of your family in a way, because when you live with somebody, it kind of feels like family. That's just what we're used to. We live with mom, dad, sis, brother, or whatever, and we take that as family. So when we go to a shared house, it feels kind of the same, because that's the only thing we can compare it to. Or like if you've lived with anybody, you kind of feel like family. I mean, you do so much together. When one person is making dinner, the other person's there, and you're both making dinner together. It's just so much bonding that goes on. It's such a deeper connection. And you share your personal space with them. Like, that makes you super attached to those people. So it was super difficult, and my schedule changed, obviously, because like there was like established things that I would do during my day with those people, or like things that we would watch, or the way that we would spend our evenings together, things like that had to change, obviously, because it's different people. And that was kind of difficult for me to get used to, which I think is completely normal in this situation, because not only do they have their own established schedules in this house, so do I, but we've never really lived together. So now that we finally do, we have to just kind of feel each other out and get used to each other, which takes time. But the whole process for me was so painful, because I was just like, things felt weird. And when things feel weird and different, like you've established this home feeling and now it's changed. So in a way, I felt like I wasn't at home anymore, which was really weird. Things just felt different. The house felt different. And for me, that like brought about a lot of stress, because I was like, oh my God, the only place that I can be in is my room, or like the toilet. Like, that's the only things that didn't change. So it was really weird. And I was kind of like isolating myself in a way, I figured, because I was super numb. And kind of like, not only was I missing my friends, but it was also like I was too scared to make friends with new people. I did go through like a little bit of like, I felt really depressed and isolated and lonely, because it kind of put me back to the time when I was first here, and I was feeling a lot of homesickness. And I was feeling really alone because everything was so new, and I didn't know anybody here, and I had to get used to so many different things. So it kind of brought back that feeling, which was like so annoying, because I finally figured out a way to feel good here and like feel like, yes, I have established things here, and I didn't feel homesick anymore because this was home. And then when I felt kind of the same, it brought this weird feeling of nostalgia, but not in a good way. So I was like, oh God, I'm being transported back to the time when I didn't know anything, and when I was completely new, and when I felt like everything was out of my control. And it like made me think of like, wow, like if I'm this much of a control freak, like I really have to think and dig deep with this, because the thing is, that like when I feel like that, I'm always super isolated. I isolate myself. So it was really difficult for me to open up, because I was like, well, they're going to leave anyway, because in 6 months there's going to be new people. So I was like, well, they're going to leave anyway. Why would I even bother like making a connection with another person when they're just going to leave? And you know, those thoughts that you have where it's like, I would rather keep myself closed off so that I don't get hurt, putting up walls, and I found that super unhealthy. I mean, I could see it from the outside, like, this is not healthy, this is not what you're supposed to do, because like it's not a sustainable way of living or reacting to situations like this. So I've been trying to cope with it. It's definitely much better right now, because I think they came around last Thursday or something, and now it's Tuesday. So obviously I've had like almost a week of being with them, and obviously since we live together, I've had plenty of conversations, plenty of like time to spend together. There was even a party on Friday where they invited all their friends, and we got to meet their friends, and we got to like party together, do some games, kind of lighten the mood, make the space feel more shared. And it was a really good idea. And then during the weekend, we also saw each other a bunch of times. I got to meet their friends, which was really nice. Kind of got to feel out the space a little bit, see like what kind of people they are, what they laugh at, what they enjoy, what they don't like. And I think I was also trying to focus and distract myself with different things so that I didn't feel the negative emotions, because what I did at the start was I kind of just stayed in my room and watched shows or like scrolled through my phone, which I don't think actually provided good distraction or like made me feel better. It kind of made me feel worse because I was kind of wasting everything. I was wasting my day like by scrolling through my phone, and I was like, what am I even doing? Like, I should be out there. I should get to know people. I should like do things and not be scared. But I was having this weird fear and anxiety about going downstairs and talking to new people. And it was a really weird feeling. I used to have this all the time when I was younger, but I thought I got over it until now, where it's like, I guess I was hurt in a way that I haven't been hurt in a while. And that kind of triggered feelings for me that were like, brought me to old coping mechanisms that I thought I left behind. So it was really important for me to try to find different distractions that were more productive for me and that actually made me feel better. I tried to focus on my studies. I tried to focus on just like doing my work, because I felt like that was a pretty stable part of my life, is the fact that I'm still going to uni, and the fact that that I'm still doing my work, reading, stuff like that. Like that felt like stability for me. I also tried to watch some comfort shows. I mean, not all the time, because that did feel kind of time wasty and it didn't really do much most of the time. But sometimes, as companionship in a weird way, I would watch Modern Family or something like that that made me feel good, and that made me laugh and kind of distract me from everything. I also kept going to the gym. I kept up my routine at home, kind of like the whole routine that I used to have. I tried to keep it up so that I didn't feel more out of control. The gym was also like, I feel like the gym is a place of solace for me. Even though you're surrounded by so many people in a shared space, I still feel alone. Not in the bad way alone, not lonely, but just like I have my own time. And it felt very nice. So the gym definitely helped, and it feels really good when I feel anxious or stressed or I have a lot on my mind. Doing cardio, going to the gym, working on my body feels incredible. So I definitely tried my best to do as much of that as possible, because I knew it would make me feel really good. And talking to my friends, I talked to my mom. There was a time during the weekend that I was so, like, I was in my room. Like, I was not leaving that place. It was so embarrassing. Like, now that I look back, I'm just like, girl, what was wrong with me? Like, I don't think we should judge ourselves for these types of reactions, because it's normal. We're trying to do our best, and sometimes we don't make the best decisions, and we isolate ourselves. But I was like, girl, what are you doing? And I was so isolated. And I called my mom because I saw my parents that day. They came over. She brought me so much food. Oh my God. She brought me a lot of gassy food, if you know what I'm saying, like cabbage. Like, I love it, but also my stomach it's also another reason I stay in my room, is because the flatulence is a lot, but that's okay. I just finished the food today, and I'm gonna go buy some tomorrow. Food that won't make me gassy. Let's pray. Let's hope and pray. Anyways, my parents came over, brought me some clothes, some food, and when I saw them, I was like, oh, home, and it like triggered emotions. So at that night, I was like, I'm so lonely, because I didn't end up going to dinner with them because I was too lazy to go to dinner. So I was like, I'm so lonely, and I was like crying to my mom on the phone. But it actually really did help, because she tried to comfort me, and I also just tried to hang out as much as possible with my roommates that were still there, because it felt like it was a shared experience in a way. But also, like, if I would go alone downstairs to like meet the other roommates, I would feel like I'm alone in a way, which is weird. Like I would feel me against them in a way, which is not true, but that's just the feeling that I got. So I was like, hey, maybe if I go downstairs with someone else that I know already, it would make me feel much better. And it did, and it went much better. But I also tried to just spend some time or invite my roommate to my room and just like talk so that my room didn't feel as empty and lonely as it did. And I tried to let it out. I think the most important part of going through a stressful situation or feeling out of control is not pushing it down and denying it, or like not like trying to ignore your emotions. It's completely normal to feel emotions when you're out of control or when things really change, because change is not comfortable. It's really uncomfortable. It's important to have change and to keep life interesting because you learn so many new things. But the problem is that we feel a lot of emotion as well because it's super uncomfortable. I was way out of my comfort zone. But what I found really important and what I think is super important in situations like this is that you just let it out. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like being angry and hitting your pillow, hit your goddamn pillow. Do things that let your emotions out, especially with anger. The gym, you don't even need a pre-workout. You don't even need those protein powders. Baby girl, just get angry. Let your boyfriend say something mean to you. And then go to the gym and watch how you build up those muscles. But definitely, if you're feeling like this, like, I think the most important part is that you feel it. You let your emotions go. You can't let them control you. You just have to ride the wave, because I think the only thing that could have really helped this situation was time. I just needed to get to know the people better, figure out a nice routine with them, figure out how we can live together in harmony. That takes time and that takes patience. And during that time, you just have to feel your emotions so that you can get over them. You'll never get over an emotion. You'll never feel better if you don't feel the emotion in the first place. So it was definitely a lot of crying, but it felt really good. And I managed to get over it pretty quickly. Like, it's Tuesday, they came on Thursday or Wednesday or something like that. So it was really quick, but it felt long. But in reality, it's just a week. It's not even a week. So I'm very glad about that. And there's still a lot to learn about them, but I feel like I'm way more comfortable. I'm way happier. I still, like, home is coming back. It's coming back in a different way, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing at all. I think it's great, honestly. Like, I think I enjoy the little spontaneous shifts in reality, because sometimes when we get too comfortable, things start to get not boring, but just like things get monotoned. So I think as much as painful as this was in a way, it was also great because it made my life feel a little bit interesting, and it just like made my days a little bit different, and it gave me a new challenge to undertake, and I think it helped me grow as a person at the end of the day. And I really tried to go downstairs a lot more, just because now that I kind of know them and stuff like that, I'm trying to like push myself to spend more time downstairs in the shared living space, in the living room as well. And I'm thinking of also, making more of an effort to watch the shows that they like and to talk to them about their studies and to, figure out who they are as people. Because now that I've gotten over this whole anxiety thing, I feel like I'm way more open, and I'm way more comfortable with sharing my emotions, or at least like, I guess, yeah, I think the most important thing would be to be more personal with them, which takes time for sure. But I think that when we get into a little bit of a deep conversation, then we figure out each other's emotions. I feel like when you connect with somebody emotionally, it humanizes them a lot. Like, they don't seem like this new thing. They seem like, oh, this is a human being and we can relate to different issues. I feel like sometimes we especially when you have deep conversation with someone. It definitely helps to kind of relate to each other, because we can all feel empathy to a certain extent. And if we talk about like different experiences, different hardships in life, that's how we relate the best, when we feel emotion with each other. So I'm definitely going to try to do more of that. And I think I'm also going to we have to like organize more roommate nights, have dinner together, do some fun stuff. Like the Super Bowl was an idea as well. Yesterday I watched a movie with everybody, so it was really nice. And I'm also thinking like my boyfriend feels like home, which is wonderful, but he's not here very often. But when he is, I feel like it would be really nice to make this space feel like home again, to get to know him and them, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of introduce them to each other, stuff like that. And here's the harsh reality of life. We need this. I feel like we will never be able to be in control completely, ever. I don't think I've ever felt completely in control of my life, because that's not natural, because life always has downsides, turns and twists, and things that we've never even expected. And we go through new challenges every day. Sometimes we don't notice because those challenges aren't that big of a deal, but there's much bigger challenges sometimes, and things change constantly. Life changes constantly. Your environment is going to change constantly. And I feel like it's important to figure out when those changes happen, what do I do? What makes me feel the best? What helps me get out of that rut? What helps me get out of that anxiety? What stabilizes me and keeps me grounded, so that I can better go through this? And what can I learn? It's always a learning opportunity with these types of things. And the thing is, when you live with roommates, especially during college, they come and go. It's so normal for people to just come and go, especially in college. I feel like in college and high school, it's one of those moments. I really need to sneeze, but I'm trying so hard not to. Okay. College is one of those things that like people go abroad, people change majors, people decide to go to a completely different university, people move, like things happen with like their living permits, especially if they're international. So college is one of those places where you find amazing people, but you don't know if those people will stay. And what that teaches us is that we still have to make connections, and there's so much to learn and so many memories to make from those connections, but we also have to be ready to let go when we need to. And we have to understand that nothing is permanent. Things are always temporary, and that might be a really bad thing, because we don't want to lose people, we don't want to lose experiences, we want to stay in the happiness. But it could also be a really good thing, because we understand that, hey, if I'm going through a really rough time, it's temporary. The anxiety that I felt, it was temporary. The control that I felt like was not there was temporary. And that really made me feel better, because I was like, look, all I need is time, and things always change. So if you're having a really bad time, it's going to change eventually. And it might change into something you've never expected in your life. So I was really trying to focus on my hobbies, focus on the things that keep me grounded, and then go through that change. And it really helped a lot. And the thing is, I figured out that also I needed to cope better. I couldn't take it out on myself. I couldn't take it out on being isolated. I couldn't do that to myself, because that would have never made me feel better. And it was definitely a learning opportunity for me to be like, yo, obviously I'm not completely healed yet. Obviously I have a lot more to learn, a lot more to do for myself and my mental health, because if this is how I react, if this is my first reaction to isolate myself in this situation, then there's obviously something that needs to be addressed, and something to take to therapy, I suppose. But I was also like, wow, I can transform this. And this is why I'm doing this podcast, because I'm trying to transform issues that I go through into something helpful, into something that can actually make me feel good, into an opportunity. So I was I learned a lot about myself from this experience. And I learned a lot about what makes me feel good, what makes me feel bad, and how to go through something like this, because I am going to go through it again when there's going to be new roommates in my house. So I definitely have to get used to it and understand that I am permanent for myself. I'm always going to be in this body and as a human being with myself, but I'm always going to have to change the people around me. They are not permanent. But that also means that I have to find comfort within myself in order to find comfort with my environment. No matter where I go, when you really feel confident in yourself, when you really feel comfortable in yourself, you can make that place home, because you are your home. No matter where you are, you can make it home. So yeah, that was a really big learning opportunity for me. Definitely happy I did it. Happy this happened. I was not happy at the start, but I was definitely happy now. And I hope that you understand where I'm coming from. And I'm sorry if you have the same problems with anxiety and like abandonment issues. But I think it's a normal part of the human experience, and we shouldn't be like hard on ourselves for reacting a certain way. We should just be like, okay, interesting thing that I did. Not very proud of it, but that doesn't mean I should beat myself up about it. And it's always learning opportunity. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think I'm finished. I think this is all I wanted to say. It felt really good to say all of this. I'm really relieved. Genuinely, I'm very happy. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I am going to have a Galentine's Day with my roomie. We're going to decorate heart mugs. We're going to paint them, and we're going to have cocktails, and then we're going to go out to the clubs because there's like a Valentine's Day party at this nice club. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to be hungover tomorrow. So that's really fun. I'm ready to be. I've had this planned for like more than a week, so I'm ready to get into that. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening. I hope the weather is amazing for you as it is for me. I hope you do something nice with your day. Read a book, watch a nice movie, talk to a friend, talk to your family, do something self-care-ish. Buy yourself flowers like Miley Cyrus did recently. And I'm wishing you all the best. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you very, very much. All right. Bye-bye.